Got a nice orange going on.
Hey, we're
Oh,
live.
shit. Yeah. Good evening, fellow ghouls and specters alike. Your ghost host with the most, Tiki here.
And Blue Dragon 5, here to engage in some haunted holiday hijinks by trudging through the catacombs and dusting off the cobwebs as we recount our spooky selection of Halloween classics.
So, light the jack-o'-lantern, suit up, and grab the candy dish as we revive and recount tonight's spooky selection. Halloweentown. Adolescence is the real nightmare.
Magic bags!
Oh dear. Okay, Dragon. So yeah, Halloweentown. This has been a long time coming, my friend. Honestly, I'm surprised we haven't got into this yet. Dragon, I did indulge in Halloweentown earlier this year because I went against Jacob Weil in a debate for best DCOM, Disney Channel original movie for the terminology for the kids out there, DCOM. I argued for Luck of the Irish. Jacob argued for Halloweentown, so I did watch this movie. Dragon, the interesting thing about that watch is that I watched it kind of like with a cynical eye of like, all right, what bad stuff can I find in it? And I gotta tell you, man, this is one of those things. It's a Disney Channel original movie that I remember being a really big event. Like they really pushed this one more than they pushed a lot of the Disney Channel original movies. And this one was kind of like a poster child for the whole brand up until like I would say they got really big with the whole High School Musical Descendants era of it all with the DCOM. This was one of their big franchises. Franchise. And Dragon, I gotta tell you, I wanted to look for, I was specifically in my rewatch this time around looking for things to like about this movie. And there's certainly things here and there. There certainly are. But this is not really a movie that's aged well, Dragon. I feel like the fault kind of lies on the kids, man. This is not Spielbergian child acting or writing. I'll say that much. I really feel like I don't know, especially the older two. Sophie's fine. She's just like a little kid actress who doesn't really know what she's doing. I don't really give her fault there, but honestly, the way that both of the older children in this movie are written, Dragon, it's cringy. It's just cringy on kind of polar opposite levels. And I don't know. I mean, you got Debbie Reynolds in there, and don't get me wrong, Debbie Reynolds is the reason to watch this movie. She's a blast. She absolutely is. There's a few fun set pieces and effects. I especially like the taxi driver. But overall, Dragon, I feel like this movie, it doesn't have the best effects, and it really doesn't have the greatest writing or child acting to go along with it. So it's flawed in many ways. I still have nostalgia for it, but it's one of those like nostalgic movies that you kind of look back on and you kind of see the wear and tear on it over the years.
Yeah, so of course, it is the first, it's the first DCOM franchise. I'm glad you brought that up. And for me, it was the first, kind of DCOM franchise on my radar, especially, as I think with many of us, it was. Of course, you check it out. The Debbie Reynolds factor is why this thing is kind of in a, it's definitely, it was kind of the sell at the door for this franchise. And either you stuck around for Debbie Reynolds, like, oh, look, Debbie Reynolds is in this, man. She was kind of the draw in the first place, isn't that cool? I mean, I remember even today. I mean, even like now and yesterday, like they're still like they're live streaming like the movie on
Oh,
online.
I'm sure they are. It's really popular. Yeah.
I'm saying, especially the sequel. And I got to be honest,
Calabar's Revenge, an iconic classic.
yeah, and I definitely have this. Basically, out of the four movies, I don't know if they're going to do a fifth or not on Disney Plus or not, but because apparently they're doing all six. Apparently, we're doing a Hocus Pocus 2 on Disney Plus. Apparently, so anything can happen. A testament to anything
The
can happen.
Christmas story of Halloween movies.
Pretty much. My point is, I'm familiar with the franchise up until the college years. I was there for the first movie, the second movie, and the Halloweentown High. That's as far as I was with it for the franchise.
I got to tell you, I kind of grew out of the franchise after the first one. I never saw any of the sequels.
Really?
Yeah, I never saw the iconic cult classic masterpiece that is Calabar's Revenge.
I want to say I got into Halloweentown by the point where they were hyping up the third one that was premiering. Basically, I was there when the third one was premiering, and I had seen the other two being played up to that point. I want to say, anywho. So yeah, for me, I'd echo some of your sentiments there. I'd say, yeah, it doesn't hold up as well as I remembered, specifically the first part. But it's a harmless celebration of Halloween. I think it on a rewatch. I think it flirts with some bigger themes that didn't really impress me on a rewatch. I got to give it points there. I get a sense the sequel played with those themes a little bit more from what I remember of the sequel. And the sequel again had, honestly, I think the plot issues in this one, I think they fixed in the sequel. Bear in mind, I haven't given the sequel a second pass, so I can't say that definitively. But from what I remember, the sequel's pretty simple, and that Halloweentown's in jeopardy, and our guys are trying to stop it. But it's more, let's say, it's a little bit more on the face. Like, okay, we're sucking out everything that's special at Halloweentown. Pretty easy to track, right?
Uh-huh.
This movie, not so much. We're gonna get into that a little bit. But a movie, it's cute and harmless. Just wish I wish certain elements. I wish certain elements stood the test of time better. I'll put it that way.
All right. So, let's see, Dragon. Do we have any backstory on this one?
Yeah, very brief backstory. Again, okay. It's like a prospector. It's like a prospector's dig finding backstory on this one. It's like, oh, there's a nugget.
Isn't that like generally the case with pretty much all of the DCOMs?
Pretty much, yeah. So let's see. So, the background here, of course, this is in 1998. Solid year. This was essentially Disney Channel's second stab at a Halloween DCOM after the success of Under Wraps in '97.
That's one we definitely have to get to.
Of course, that's for the kids out there. That's essentially that's the Mummy movie with the voice of Patrick from SpongeBob. You have like kind of the klutzy mummy, not the other klutzy mummy. That's one not for Matzah's in my pocket. Different klutzy mummy.
Matzah's in my pocket.
Matzah's in your pocket. Anyway, so this was directed by Dwayne Dunham. Now, Dwayne Dunham, the biggest directing credit that he had before this was Homeward Bound. That was his directorial debut. He did the first Homeward Bound, man.
That's definitely a respectable credit, man. It is.
He had worked he kind of done editing on a lot of things building up to that point. And little fun fact, just really obscure fact. I don't know if I've ever had a chance to bring it up ever again, so I'm just going to bring it up here.
Okay.
The cinematography on this, I don't know if you know who the cinematographer was on this.
No idea.
There's some Albuquerque-verse talent on this movie.
Oh, no, really?
Like Slovis, like the cinematographer from both Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul, like the guy.
Uh-huh.
He did the cinematography for this. Trippy, right?
Oh, wow.
Was your guy did the score, Mark Mothersbaugh?
Oh yeah, he's one of my guys.
They shot this in Oregon, and of course, as with the legacy that this has, the tourism has definitely gone up in St. Helen, Oregon, basically for the Halloweentown set of it all. And of course, it's a big success. Still comes or plays every year, including this one. Big staple for Disney Halloween stuff, which of course leads to the sequels, and in some cases, the sequels in excess. And that's all we got.
All right, so Dragon, you mentioned how the plot got a little complicated. Would you like to lay out the plot in layman's terms as best you can?
Sure. Let me give you the simple version of the plot here, folks. So, we meet the Cromwell family on Halloween. Includes Mother Gwen, her three kids, the oldest, range from the oldest to the youngest here, Marnie, Dylan, and Sophie. Because there's always a Sophie when we need an innocent child.
It's true.
Seriously, anyone who's seen Rise of the Guardians, tell me I'm wrong. Anyway, so these three kids, they are forbidden by their mother to go trick or treating for reasons. Until their grandmother, Aggie, played by the wonderful Debbie Reynolds, arrives for a little visit, kind of spices things up, and basically we learn the Cromwell family actually descend from a family of witches, and Aggie wants to bring Halloween and magic into their lives, but Mom says no, which leads the kids to stow away on the magical bus that takes you to, you guessed it, Halloweentown. So, we explore the town. We meet Mayor Calabar. We get in touch with over time. Marnie specifically gets in touch with her witchy roots of it all. There, Aggie. Aggie kind of ropes the kids into this mission she has to stop this shadow demon with Merlin's talisman. Gwen shows up. She's not happy the kids are there. She wants to take them home. Along the way, Mom and Aggie both get frozen. They're under the shadow demon's power. It's up to the kids to save the victims with the Merlin's talisman spell, which leads to shenanigans. And then ultimately, by the end of Act 3 here, we reveal that Calabar is the big bad, and it takes all the Cromwells to unite to foil him, and the day is saved, and with the new status quo for the family in place, and that's the first movie.
I mean, yeah, that's about as quick of a summary as you can get for that movie, and still, it's oh man, Dragon, is it just me, or do we have some like Pirates of the Caribbean sequel-itis going on with this thing? It's like it's more complicated than it needs to be.
Yeah, a little bit.
All right. Well, let's break down the characters, starting with oh my God, Dragon, our main heroine, man. She's gonna be the witch to bring down them all. She's just oh God, give it up for Marnie. Dragon, on a rewatch, it's just like Dragon, this kid, and I emphasize the word kid, all right? I want to make that clear. It kind of is a great example of as you get older, you start to relate to the adults in these movies more than you do the kids, because, we're not going to really break down the mother in full here, folks, but I just, the whole time, Dragon, I'm just like, yeah, I know that we wouldn't have a movie if the kids didn't go to Halloweentown, but I'm with the mother. It's like it's completely unsafe. It's just, I don't know, man. Marnie is just a character where she's really smug. She's really full of herself. She thinks she's kind of the center of the universe. And she's just like really mouthing off to her mom throughout the whole movie. And it's, I don't know, man. She's just really unpleasant. What do you think? What was your read on her?
I really didn't read it that way. It's funny.
Okay.
I read it. I think at the core of the story here, it's very much it's a mother-daughter story. And of course, it's kind of a dual kind of generational mother-daughter story. You have a little bit with with Gwen and her mother being Aggie, and of course, I think the crux of everything here is Marnie being diametrically opposite to her mother here, in that her mother made a choice to help her daughter here by she took the choice out of her daughter's hand, saying, I'm not going to let you know about your Halloweentown roots. I'm not going to let you know about your magic roots and all this stuff. I want you to be mortal like your father, like the life that I chose for us here, before you had a say in anything here. And I think it's what's leading to a lot of the conflict between the two of them. So I feel Marnie's a little bit more justified when we get to like that. Is she annoying as all get out in the latter half when she's just really like, I'm going to do this and that. I'm going to get a tattoo. I'm going to be
Dude, that's what I'm saying. It's just like, I don't care if it's like the justification or not. The fact of the matter is she's just like, she just never shuts up about it, man. She's just so boastful.
But again, when we get there, but I think it's up until we get there, she's fine. And I would argue the fact that, again, like, it's kind of, if your mother tells you can't go trick or treat like every other normal kid, and you don't know why, that's going to cause some issues. That's going to cause a little bit of strife, I'd imagine. Like, why is my mother so nitpicky about Halloween? I mean, trick or treating, and why can't we?
Okay, honestly, that's the part of it I can get into, Dragon. It's really kind of the part where it's like, where the mother is like, I don't know, like trying to get them back from Halloweentown. Like once the danger of it all is revealed.
Yeah. But again, you gotta. Honestly, that's one of my problems with the movie, though. That's the sell of it on the rewatch. The sell of it really is really problematic. The fact that it's like there's no explanation. I'll tell you when you're older why you can't go trick or treating. That's like kids aren't going to understand that. No wonder they have questions and doubt here.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, Dragon, it's not about the justification. It's just about the way it's written, and the way it's written is just really annoying, regardless. I think.
All right. Well, let's see. So she, well, by the end of things, she kind of earns. They kind of like they learn a little. They kind of get in the other's head about what's going on here. Again, Marnie saw firsthand the danger that her mother's talking about. By the same token, Gwen sees that her daughter kind of earned her respect there. Sees that well. I shouldn't have held them as close to the best. They kind of met in the middle by the end of things.
Yeah. Pretty average mother-daughter story, but it works. It works for the sake of this, for the sake of giving this a strong narrative structure.
I mean, at the end of the day, the mother kind of learns. Gwen kind of learns the hard way how rejecting your past entirely can backfire, which can ultimately leads to her growth. And again, all of that kind of through her children having to teach her that lesson. So again, it's all relative, I guess, literally.
All right.
So let's talk about Dylan.
Oh God. Okay, Dragon, please tell me that. I mean, I get your defense with Marty, I do, but please tell me that this kid got under your skin, man. Come on.
He did. He out of all the elements.
Okay, thank you. That's
what I'm saying. The Marnie thing, there's an actual defense for Marnie.
That's what I'm saying. Like Marnie, it's like she's annoying, but at least there's a plot reason. With Dylan, it's just like from the very get-go. Oh man, it's like to quote Bob's show, it's like, are you trying to be unlikable? That's what it feels like, Dragon. That's what it feels like. This kid is just like, why would you write a kid character this way?
Now, not in defense of this movie, but just from what I recall of the franchise here, I will say that Dylan, from what I remember, we did get better and when he was older, he was better. Okay, I'll say that much. Here, though, I assume...
I mean, it's hard to get worse than this.
That's what I'm saying, because I was thinking, going back to this, I was wondering, I remember liking Dylan in the other movies. I wonder how he holds up as a kid, and he did not hold up well whatsoever. He did not. He was, out of all the elements of the movie that didn't hold up, he was the worst element that did not hold up. To me. Because, basically, Dylan's role is the skeptic in denial of Halloweentown, which, we've seen many a skeptic in our time of talking of things, right?
No, I don't mind him being a skeptic. That's fine. I'm totally fine with that.
Well, yeah.
My whole thing is he's a wet blanket.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying we've seen skeptics and we've seen how they can be done here, but we keep pulling on the thread as it goes on. Where he's just doubling down. I'm hallucinating right now.
Oh my God! Yeah, you're right. That is a problem.
That's what I'm saying. Also, we have this. There's this weird thing. There's this inconsistency, by the way, where the end of the movie has a little bit of magic, and he joins the rest of the gang, and then the other movies are very predicated on he's just moral. He doesn't do any of that magic at all, so he's going to drop that thing. Where it's just basically has no payoff here, and it goes nowhere. I guess Dylan's completely pointless in this movie. That's kind of what I'm getting at here.
He's middle child.
Pretty much. Basically, all the potential we gave him was just never mind. Again, look, if they want to say something with that, okay, we have the moral side. Again, if we want to see the dynamic of the family here, okay, we have the daughter who wants to bask in the magic, and the son who's basically we have representation of the two worlds that bred the family, the Halloweentown and the mortal realm. And Unfortunately, we don't really stick the landing there with Dylan. Dylan just seems like he's. I'm going to give Dylan 1 point here. Okay, 1 point. In that, I like how he defends the mother. I love how he defends Gwen. I like that. Again, I don't think they're sticking the landing at all on this. But again, if he's representing the life that was chosen for them, he is, he is very much in defense. Let's not upset mom by talking about dad. That was kind of nice. But again, that's all he's got. That's only act one for a bit, and then the rest of it is okay. Now it's just he's along for the ride. That he's very much saying this can't be real.
Okay, so Dragon, let's talk about Sophie.
Sophie.
It's always
a Sophie, man.
Oh God, I don't. There's honestly not much to say about Sophie. I think she's kind of just like a big plot device where it's just like, oh no, we got to make sure nothing bad happens to Sophie. But by the same token, Sophie turns out to be the most powerful character in the movie. Uh, like I don't know. It's like there's literally like nothing about her character other than important to the plot and cute.
Pretty much. I mean, look, you know, she was pleasant. You know, I like the magical cookie bit. I thought that was cute. You know.
Okay, I will say, out of the three kids, she honestly is the one that annoys me the least.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, I like that unconsciously she's very in tune with her magic, and that's why she has like the floating cookie and stuff, and just very.
Yeah, you're right. I do think that kind of stuff is one of the few things in this movie that does really hold up is the, unconsciously in tune with the magic stuff that she gets. That works.
Yeah. Again, not much to her other than that. She kind of saves their bacon with the dog later on, but that's about it.
All right, fair enough.
All right, so let's talk about the real star of this picture, man. Let's talk about Aggie Cromwell.
Man, Debbie Reynolds in this movie. I mean, it's like, say what you will about the rest of this movie, but Jesus, anytime she's on screen, she's just delightful. I mean, I don't know, man. It's like, I grew up with both Hocus Pocus and this. And man, I'm sorry. With all due respect to Bette Midler, I'll take this witch any day of the week, Dragon. I really will. Yeah, I mean, Hocus Pocus is fun, but this is like, Debbie Reynolds just really embodies the classic Halloween witch.
Well, two things. One, Bette Midler just looks ridiculous in that movie.
That's what I'm saying. That's kind of like, in my opinion, I think Hocus Pocus is more kind of like a Tim Burton-y take on a witch, whereas this is a much more traditional, like classic Halloween witch.
Yeah, I love. Basically, there's a respectability to the witch we have here. She's a witch, but she's not like not like a warts and all witch. She's not like a bubble boy and trouble witch. She's not one of those. She's very much like we're witches, but that's awesome, man. Like look at all the stuff we can do. Like we're not touting the line of like we're not going to like ha ha witch like Sabrina, for example. Which again that's fine.
Yeah, right.
Nothing wrong with that, but I'm saying I like that there's like a quiet respectability about her. I can do these amazing things, but you know what? I'm not showing off. I embrace myself, but I'm not showing off. See, for me, I had two Debbie Reynolds roles growing up. I had a role in Singing in the Rain and this.
Of course, Singing in the Rain. Yeah, as you know, I didn't discover Singing in the Rain until much later on in life. But
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So I guess for me, it was this. It was definitely this. This is what I look back at Debbie Reynolds for.
I kind of like the kind of Debbie Reynolds like at kind of towards the beginning of things, just kind of the young Debbie Reynolds, and I had just kind of like the wizened Debbie Reynolds here as the witch, man, and just like this is really just this great character. He's kind of like a fun Miss Frizzle-esque kind of grandmother, it's kind of the vague vibe you get from her, right?
Yeah, I could see that. She definitely kind of exemplifies the type of grandma where it's like, the type of grandma that you knit like if mom says no, ask grandma t-shirts over. You know what I mean? Just the grandmas that'll just go out of their way to just spoil their grandchildren in a good way, in a loving way.
She's very likable. She has a cool magic bag, and I love that magic bag.
Oh my God, yeah.
She's I love, and this is the thing that Debbie Reynolds. Years later, you look back on the movie. This is the thing that she really brings so well. It's kind of under your nose during the original. It's there, but it's a little bit more under your nose that first time you watch it. I love the subtle, sad struggle that she has with her daughter. It's like she wants to bring this to the family, and her daughter saying no. You can sense the sadness, but she's not milking it,
Yeah, sure, absolutely. There is a lot of kind of like unspoken family drama that she has to method act her way through, surprisingly.
Exactly, and she brings the enthusiasm and just utter fun to the role, and just like I love that. I love how she's the consummate storyteller. I love how she kind of tells us the mythology and the history of Halloweentown. I love when we do that sort of stuff in the movie. I love when she's like telling the bedtime story, telling about Halloweentown, like as they're walking down the street, just all that sort of stuff. Like Debbie Reynolds, the mentor is awesome.
Yeah, definitely.
All right.
Okay, let's talk about Luke.
Yes. So a little fun fact again. I don't think you knew this, but
I think I know.
You know. So of course Luke. You know who Luke's voice actor? Sorry, you know who Luke's actor is on this.
Tell me.
Philip Van Dyke.
Yes, yes.
And who is Philip Van Dyke?
Okay, you know what? This is not the fun fact that I thought was going to be the fun fact. I have a fun fact for you that I think is
Okay.
even more mind blowing. But who is Philip Van Dyke, Dragon?
He was the second predominant Arnold from Hey Arnold, as in like
Okay.
when the first Arnold retired, basically when the Arnold who went on to be King Bob on Recess, that Arnold.
Uh-huh.
The second one that was there for at least like seasons 2, 3, and I want to say up to the first half of 5, however that went. Point being the second most used Arnold, Philip Van Dyke. This guy.
All right. Well, you want to know my fun fact?
Yes. What do you got?
Okay, so apparently this actor and the actress who played Marnie are now married with children.
Get out!
I'm not even kidding. I saw it on Twitter the other day.
Oh, that's cute.
And they look almost exactly the same, except they look like 20-somethings instead of teenagers.
That's nice. Good.
Yeah. All right. But Luke, I feel like Luke is kind of like, I wish he would have gotten a little bit more development. I feel like he's a character that probably gets more development in the sequels, but, you know, we get that fun kind of pig-faced reveal with him. He's supposed to be the town bad boy.
I don't remember what they did with him in the third one, but I know he's a big role in the second one. He's kind of the sidekick to her when they're trying to save Halloweentown in the second one, so that's good.
Makes sense.
But yeah, I like basically the lesson we get with Luke's story is, you know, it's kind of like a good on the inside versus the outside lesson, where he's kind of learning that, you know, he's, deep, basically he kind of makes this deal with the devil to kind of get some good looks, because he's a goblin essentially, and of course goblins, not the best looking of guys. He wants to be kind of like the bad boy, and he wants to be the heartbreaker bad boy essentially, and. And then by the end of things, it's, you know, kind of he didn't know the stakes.
Kind of honestly reminds me of another classic nostalgic Lucas Dragon. He reminds me of the Wizard Lucas.
Yeah.
Do you know which Lucas I'm talking about?
God, I'm kind of blanking right now. Who?
I love the Power Glove. It's so bad.
Oh my God! Yes, yeah.
That Lucas.
Awesome.
Oh man, I mean that Lucas is just like, he is like up there with like fucking. I was gonna go on a rant about how awesome he is compared to other like iconic 80s villains like Freddy Krueger, Jason Voorhees, Lucas. But I won't bore you, Dragon. I won't bore you.
Yeah, but in all seriousness, I do like the fact that this kid, you know, he made a bad deal with kind of the bad guy. He kind of got him with the wrong crowd, and he kind of like, I didn't want
Lucas from the Wizard is just ice cold. This kid is misguided.
Yeah, I like that he kind of bought it. He kind of found his way back from the dark side, so to speak. A Luke in a dark side. Forgive me, folks. You can only do so much. And there's a Reynolds in this movie. Well, there's a tangentially related anyway.
All right.
Forgive me. Point being, it's nice seeing that by the end of the day he made the right choice, and you know he's kind of accepting of himself by the end of things, as he's kind of like, you know, accepting kind of his Halloweentown visage. By the end, so that's nice.
Nice. All right, let's get to Calabar, who I mean, Dragon, it's like spoiler alert for the second movie, right?
Yep.
It's like never trust a guy with a top hat, folks.
I gotta tell you though, I really loved Calabar. I
do too. I think he does a good job with the whole like Lotso Huckenbear style guy who you think is on your side until it turns out he's not. I think it's a good misdirect.
Yeah, he's still held up.
Do you see it? I mean, as an adult, yeah, sure, it's pretty telegraphed, but I gotta say, as a kid, it was pretty effective. This guy did have a charm to him.
That he did. He's just he's a charismatic mayor and a warlock, and he just seemed like such a nice guy. You know, I love Here's the really interesting thing about Calabar. So Calabar, and it's in the movie, but you kind of wish they'd focus on it a little bit more. Is that he complements the mythology laid out earlier in the movie about Halloweentown so well when you really look at it. Because think about it. This is a guy who the whole story of Halloweentown very simply is that monsters and humans used to mingle together in the same world, and essentially this led to kind of your angry mobs going up against monsters when they basically were scared off by them. You had intolerance rear its ugly head, and basically Halloween is kind of a memory of those times when they were mingling together, and basically they got excommunicated from the moral world to get their own little kind of side pocket, which is Halloweentown. They're all banished. Basically, they're all segregated into this little kind of this little side pocket town of reality, I guess. And this guy's just really embittered by, we were there first. We have all that claim, and they cast us out. And again, he has a very understandable reason to be ticked off at people. And he got.
Dare I say, it's kind of like a weird sort of political statement for indigenous people.
I mean, you're not. I don't know if that's the perfect analogy,
but you're just like laying it out here. Like I never thought about it in these terms, just watching the movie. But as you're laying it out, I'm just like, some connections to be made.
That's the thing. The idea is they were treated like second-class citizens, still they were literally like an angry mob. You kind of chased them out.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if that's the perfect analogy, but I hear you though. I exactly that's the thing. But I love that he has an understandable motivation for why he's doing the things he's doing here, and I love the fact, or again, it's a little subtextual, mind you, but the fact.
You remember me, Eddie? Do you remember when I killed your brother? I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I love I love that he used to date Gwen. He dated the mother, and again, like the last insult for him personally was that.
You remember when I dated your mother, Eddie? I'm sorry.
I think someone watched Roger Rabbit today. I could be wrong.
Yeah, you're wrong. It's just that I'm always down for a Judge Doom quote. Okay. Kind of like the Allen thing. I jump to it whenever I can.
Anyway. See, when you bring that up to you, I want to get on side things talking about how awesome that scene is, but we don't have the time.
Oh God, I talk just like this.
I want to talk about that moment, Bob Hoskins, but we can't. Anyway. Anyways, one of the.
Oh God.
See, you're getting me down the rabbit hole. Anyway, no, seriously, I love that. Okay, seriously, getting back on point here. I love that Gwen, in a sense, was the last insult for him, where he kind of fell in love with her, presumably, and basically his love chose the world that shunned him. Uh-huh. And I love that's kind of like that scene stuck in his crawl even more so. It's not.
Yeah, that's nice. It's pretty poetic.
It's all there. It's not quite telegraphed as directly as I would have liked it, but it's there. And I like that again. It kind of adds to the performance that he's getting. It's a likable guy with a really complex, with a compelling backstory there, which kind of motivates. He has a scary ability to rally because he's kind of rallying everybody by the end. I mean, I think it would have been more interesting if he actually kind of got him on his side by the end.
He's an incel.
Sure. Now we're going to get letters. Thanks. Point being, I think he has a compelling argument. I think that's kind of an interesting element to his character, along with just the fact he was.
He has a compelling argument, but at the same time, part of his argument is just like this girl from high school didn't date me. I don't know.
Well, he's not leading with that. It's there, but she knows they don't. Anyway, point being, Calabar is Robin Thomas. You don't really see this guy enough. This guy did a really good job in the role, I thought.
Yeah. I think he and Debbie Reynolds are kind of like fighting to steal the show, which is appropriate.
Absolutely. I love that lollipop gag that he does there, where basically, he kind of pulls the lollipop out of his ear.
It's really creepy, man.
It is. I mean, she doesn't take that lollipop, too, because she's a little freaked out by it. But
I would be, too.
It's cool, though.
All
right.
Okay, so let's get to pros and cons, but of course, let's twist it up a bit, Dragon. Let's ask for some tricks and treats. Oh no! Why did I give you a choice? I should have just asked for treats.
Oh, God bless Aaron Paul.
Okay, so let's kind of build to the positive, Dragon. Let's end out on the positive. Let's get to some tricks.
Yeah, well, that's how the saying goes: trick or treat. We got to talk about the tricks, dirty tricks. So again, as I've mentioned, so the plot's a little unclear in places. Here's what I'm really referring to.
Like it's running on Pirates of the Caribbean sequel logic, my friend.
Like, tell me if this lost you a little bit, okay?
Okay.
The biggest question I have, and I tried rewatching the movie a couple times, at least like getting to the certain parts where this was talked about. I don't know if it's just me, but I couldn't make 100% heads or tails of it. At the very least, I don't think it comes across well enough that Calabar, we go to the theater. We go to like the theater where everybody's kind of there, and it sounds like he has like kind of a legion of henchmen, I guess, because they're all just like frozen there. And of course, the big important point is that Aggie and Gwen are kind of frozen in the theater as well. So now we have stakes. I get that, but up to that point, like, why is it just freezing people? I mean, again, the guy has a compelling argument. I don't like, later on. I mean, that again, that's probably like a whole reveal. When we just think it's the shadow, when we think it's the shadow demon guy, okay, bad guy. Wants Merlin's talisman. He's freezing everybody in the theater. Why is he freezing everyone in the theater? That's what I don't get. What? And later on, here's the thing: I keep scratching my head at, and I missed completely. I don't know why I can't decipher it. It seems like everyone in Halloweentown starts to turn evil because, like Benny, the one of my favorite guys in the movie, he turns evil for a bit, and I don't know why. I don't know if there's like deleted scenes or there's like, is it part of like that? I can only assume it links to the whole like he's controlling people by freezing them in the theater. I don't know what's happening.
Then, I mean, to counteract that, the way that he's defeated is kind of ridiculous as well.
Yeah, it's like a less interesting Guardians of the Galaxy, I think.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like that those are the things that really take away from my kids. I think the movie's just very simple. Okay, problem: kids do a little scavenger hunt, and we cast the spell, and we learn a little something along the way. It's pretty simple, but I think we convolute with elements like this.
All right, we already brought up the child acting specifically for the older two children, and just the fact that Dylan just seemingly is written to be unlikable.
Yep. If he had black socks, though, he might have been a better actor. I don't know.
Oh boy, for any longtime Bates Motel fans out there who followed our Bates Motel podcast back in the day.
Running gag, forgive us.
Oh, man.
Anyway, rarely do we have a Dylan to make these remarks with.
Yeah, you're right. I won't knock you.
Anyway, so of course, this one is something that's kind of beyond their control. It's a TV movie budget, but the makeup and costumes.
Well, it's not great at all. It feels like, especially in 2019, it feels like someone went to the Spirit Halloween store.
Let me put it this way: I can look past a lot of it. When we go to the gym, though, we just have like generic kind of cat aerobics instructor lady. That's where that's where like, man, yeah, I feel bad for those actors. I have to just be like in these.
I mean, I just my favorites are like the guys in the rubber masks running around, and they don't even have gloves or anything. They just have clearly human hands.
Yeah. Can't all be winners, folks. But I mean, stuff like, I'll give them points for like, the Goblin makeup looks pretty good on Luke by the end. That looks pretty solid.
And Benny, I think, is the best effect in the movie.
I would absolutely agree with that. The animatronic they use for Benny is fantastic.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. It kind of bums me out we don't see Halloweentown at nighttime.
You know what? I'm glad you bring that up because that's something I kind of like subconsciously noticed even as a kid is like, man, there's a lot of daytime in this movie. There's a lot of daytime for something that's called Halloweentown.
Now I could intellectualize and say, well, the reason you don't see it at nighttime because that would be scary, especially to the subconscious mind. But we keep it at daytime because this is their average, this is their average kind of day in the life of your Halloweentown creature. I think it's more just like it was easier to shoot at daytime. I think that's really what the actual. It's actually why. All right, let's see. I got. I think I already mentioned there's a bit of a logic hole in the whole. You have to do it, otherwise you have no movie. But the fact of like, really, the kids aren't. There isn't like a legitimate conversation. Okay, man, what's going on? Why can't we celebrate Halloween? Is it against our religion or something? What's going on here, man?
Well, honestly, it's kind of the same issue that Luck of the Irish has, and probably a lot of these DCOMs have. It's like, yeah, the parents are withholding a pretty pivotal piece of information that would have helped these kids' development along the way.
It's kind of like a non-starter premise, where we have a premise, we have a story we want to tell, but just getting like the just the sell of it's always the issue. It's always hard getting it off the ground. Like, well, why haven't they had this conversation before? Well, it's a movie, that's why.
Exactly.
Parents have secrets, it's normal. Let's move on. Don't look at me like that. Just move
on. Right.
I'm watching you, writers. Anyway. Okay, anyways, let's move on to some treats, man. It's Halloween. Halloweentown, even, man.
All right. Well, I think we already mentioned kind of the big ones. Like Debbie Reynolds is fantastic. I think she's kind of like the quintessential '90s witch. Move over, Bette Midler.
Yep.
Sorry, not sorry.
We're at Calabar, a lot of fun there.
And Benny in his brief scenes is a lot of fun as well.
I learned something I never knew before about Benny when I was doing some research on this, man. I thought it was awesome.
Okay.
Benny is actually voiced by a Batman.
Really?
Not a big one you're thinking of. He was voiced by Reno Romano, who was Batman in The Batman, the 2004 series.
Oh.
You know, the one when we
Cool,
talked about Batman Dracula, that Batman. It's this guy.
Nice. Also, I find it funny that both Benny the cab from Roger Rabbit and Benny the taxi driver from Halloweentown, that's kind of a funny crossover.
I can't help but wonder if Benny's like a shorthand for like an old shorthand term for a cab driver or something.
Right. If
I see a third Benny, I'm going to start asking some serious questions. You're like, okay, I'm getting some conspiracy smells here, man. Anyway.
The movie does kind of radiate like a classic sort of Halloween charm to it. Just kind of like, just a low budget, kid friendly spook house fun.
Yeah. Again, I already mentioned, I think the backstory really holds up well in the whole, like, the creation of Halloweentown, which I completely forgot about till the rewatch. I think that's really strong, and I think the subtext overall, like the whole, whether it makes sense or not, like, the fact that it's why all the secrecy around Halloween? That's not the point. The point that they're getting at, the emotions being conveyed here, is that it's lineage. It's about kind of secrets and lineage within a family, and that the choice was taken out of the daughter's hands, and it's like the grandmother wants to bring kind of a large portion of their life into her life, and it's that's the crux of the story, and I feel the emotion connects, just the logic doesn't quite follow.
Mm-hmm.
So at least, again, the emotions and the subtext are pretty good, though. I'll give them that. Let's see. Again, I like the scavenger. Silly as it may be, I like the scavenger hunt quality of the movie. I like the whole, we get sweat from a ghost. We have that gag where, like, the big ghost comes out all skinny after he's been sweated.
Yeah.
To death. Like the werewolf's hair. Which, by the way, I don't know if you know this. Did you know when they shot that scene when the girl holds up the flamethrower? It's a little girl holding an actual flamethrower. By the way, very dangerous.
Oh God, really? Oh my God!
It's not an effect. It's like not like no.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Fucking also calls to mind Rick Dalton.
Yes. Oh yeah.
Just imagine that scene at the end of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, but with a little girl instead of Leo.
God, of course, the vampire thing. I just love the simple idea vampires have to go to a dentist. By the way, thing. Honestly, that bridges my other thing. I like the cutesy humor with Halloweentown, like the little. It's
kind of dad humor. I would describe it as dad humor in a charming way.
There's a lot of really great subtle jokes. Like, for example, there's when we go to Aggie's house, she has a microwave. Instead of a cauldron, she has a microwave that has toil and trouble as the settings on the microwave. I think that's cute.
I think that's one of the ones that's a little on the nose, but it's fun. It's fine.
You're right. Well, let me give you an example of a subtle one. You're right.
Okay.
A subtle one. So that was just one I really like, but here's a subtle one. So apparently, so one of Aggie's friends, she walks up to her, and she's doing charity work. She's doing like some community work by going to help essentially help the needy, and the needy in this case are people headless people, and she brought them muffins.
Oh God!
She brought muffins to the headless people. It's
muffins
like
for Zaz.
Well, I was thinking more along the lines of people without heads can't eat muffins, but sure.
Oh yeah, right.
I'm saying, like, there's some gags in there like that throughout the thing. It's kind of cute. So like vampire. God, there's like Vanity Fair, like Vampire Fair, like that sort of stuff. It's it's not in your face, but if you really look at the magazines, like, oh look, there's like puns all over the place. It's kind of fun.
All
right, I think that's in the small town setting. I think that works too. Like that's like kind of like a cute small town, like a little Halloween stuff all around the corner. It's it's kind of nice.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Final thoughts. Yeah, Dragon, this thing, it's pretty flawed, but I think it's kind of forgivable at the same time. It's not really trying to be anything too overly ambitious. It's just kind of trying to be a nice, a nice breezy Halloween movie, and I think it succeeds at doing that. I do think that Debbie Reynolds is absolutely the star of the show, and she's kind of why this movie kind of stands the test of time and why I would go back to it. But there's definitely problematic parts to it, as we laid out, specifically the plot and the children do not age well at all. But regardless, if you can look past that, if you can look past the cheap effects, there's some fun to be had. I enjoyed myself.
And for me, keep it simple. I thought it was very quaint. It's full of Halloween revelry. Just not as solid and simple as I remember. I think there's some simplicity there, which I like, but then we convolute a little bit along the way, which I didn't foresee. And yeah, Dylan sticks out like a sore thumb for sure. It lacks the edge of 2, but it's fun exploring what remains. It's fun. The fun exploration factor, like the kids just going around Halloweentown. That's what the movie is. It's not a lot. It's not deep, but it's kind of cutesy and fun. Like, hey, look, all the Halloween stuff. It's like you walk around. It's like you walk into a nicely decorated store for the holidays. But it's like you're kind of doing it from home and you're watching it somewhere.
Sure.
It's quaint. Word of the day, kids. Quaint.
All right, folks. That's the end of tonight's spooky selection. And our spirits grow weary, but they'll be stronger than ever next time as we engage in even more haunted holiday hijinks.
Next up, Halloweentown.